welcome to 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒐. Today we're going to talk about Rapid Free Fall, featuring a new Earthen Seal Stone from Silver Tempest, which is a new tool card that grants your V Pokemon with this tool card attached a V-Star power called Star Gravity. It costs 3 energies, it is an attack, and it allows you to do a special effect of placing damage counter on all of our opponent's Pokemon V until they have 100 HP remaining. So we are using this card with our Rapid Strike box, using Inteleon VMAX to do double gunner. Right after using our Star Gravity, we can snipe a lot of damage counters on their bench. We got also our Radiant Alakazam to transfer those damage counters and concentrate those damage counters onto one Pokemon to kill one off, or even to do Medicham 𝑦𝒊𝒐 at the right time. So we have our quick shoot as well. So we have a lot of damage counters in the game. If we can transfer with our Alakazam and the Scope of Net as well, we can also recycle our ability, either do more quick shoot, shady dealings for extra search, or even do more Painful Spoon. So Painful Spoon allows you to transfer up to 2 damage counter from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of their Pokemon once during your turn. You can transfer only from one to another. You can't transfer from one to any other Pokemon, which is quite confined, but that is actually good enough for us, just because we want to be targeting one Pokemon. We want to be placing 4 damage counter on one of their bench instead of 2 damage counter on 2 of their bench with our double gunner, and this actually helps us do that. We also have our 𝑦𝒊𝒐 at the right time. We can use this card to earn an extra turn by placing 2 damage counter for the knockout. If we knock out a Pokemon with this attack, we got an extra turn to do even more snipe, to do double gunner even more times, and also quick shoot even more times. We got 2 copies of the VMAX and also 2 copies of the Stage 2 with a lot of our our support cards. We have 1 Bruno, 2 Marnie, 1 Melanie, and 2 Serena to either do the boss effect or help us draw cards by discarding our hand. We also have our Zinnia to draw even more cards, and also Zisu, a lot of draw support, and also our search support, 3 copies of Drizzile, Shady Dealings Drizzile, and 1 of the Shady Inteleon, 2 copies, as I said, of our Quick Shoot Inteleon, and also 1 Capacious Bucket. We have no Irida for this deck, but we do have a lot of draw support as well. So I don't quite like Irida just because it only gives you 1 Pokemon and 1 item, which isn't really working for this deck. It does help you get your tool card out quite easily though, but I prefer drawing a lot of cards because we have our direct search with Drizzile anyway, so we don't really need Irida. I prefer to draw more cards just because we need our energies, we need a lot of things, so we need to draw a lot of cards. We also have our switch cards. We have 1 Tower of Waters for our Rapid Strike Pokemon and 1 Escape Rope to help us not only target their bench, they are active as their bench because we are only hitting their bench with our double gunner. So if, for example, they have 100 HP remaining on their Arceus V-Star in the active, we can actually do an Escape Rope and then put 2 damage counter on their Arceus and 2 damage counter on one of their Crobat or something like that, and then transfer 2 damage counter from the Crobat onto the Arceus. We got 4 damage counter on the Arceus V-Star. Instead of only transferring 2 damage counter from the bench to the active, we got 4 damage counter from our double gunner from 1 Inteleon VMAX, and then we can snipe another with another VMAX, another time with another Inteleon Stage 2. We got 8 damage counter in the game, and all we need is Medicham with that double energy to do 𝑦𝒊𝒐, giving us another whole extra turn to do even more snipes. We got 6 prize by doing 2 turn of snipes in a single turn. It's possible to do, it has the potential, a big potential to do a multi-prize draw. It is a 6 prize draw strategy because we are dropping them down to 100 HP and then sniping until we get to use our 𝑦𝒊𝒐, which is super cool. We are only playing 1 copy of Medicham though, but we do have a lot of ways to charge it up. We have 4 copies of our Rapid Strike Energy, 1 Melanie, and 6 basic Water Energy. The reason we are only playing 1 Melanie is just because we don't really need it. So it's better to play 4 copies of our Rapid Strike Energy because we are recycling those energies. We can actually put it back into our hand with our 𝑔max Spiral. After using your Star Gravity, make sure you use your Inteleon to attack as well, because not only can it snipe to do damage on the bench, not only can you collect knockouts by placing damage counter on their bench Pokemon right after the Gravity, you can also do 𝑔max Spiral to knock out the active. If it is a V-Star or a VMAX, you can still kill the active with your attack. So you may not be able to use your 𝑦𝒊𝒐 yet, but you can actually do a knockout with your 𝑔max Spiral as well, which is a very, very nifty attack to use. 140 damage is just right to kill off the Pokemon right after your Star Gravity. So it's a very, very good combo here. So if they heal their Pokemon, we only need 15 damage counter on their VMAX to knock it out with Swarm the Wound. We have Basculin to do 10 extra damage on to do 10 plus damage for each damage counter on their active Pokemon, plus 30 base with Swarm the Wound for only 1 water and 1 colorless, 2 energies. We got our Rapid Strike Energy to charge up for our Basculin to attack. It is a Rapid Strike Pokemon, so we can actually do a Leak Lash effect, a Farfetch effect with our Basculin, which actually works really well with this Rapid Strike box, and we get to do a knockout even if they heal their Pokemon with a Hyper Potion or with, you know, cards like Emergency Jelly, which is a new heal card now, and we get to kill them. They are V-star even more easily just because they have a lot less HP, even if they have those damage recovery. So we have our Inteleon to place extra damage. If they have like 170 HP remaining, we can still use our Quick Shoot Inteleon to place extra damage counter for us to do Swarm the Wound for the knockout, which is actually perfect. We can even transfer damage counter with our Painful Stones from their bench to their active and do a knockout with Basculin. So that's all for the deck list. Let's go ahead for gameplay. We also have one Empoleon, sorry. Empoleon is very, very important just because it blocks not only your Regigigas, Lunatone Solrock, it also blocks off Comfy, all of those search abilities like Mew, draw supports as well, basic draw supports like Snorlax and Miltank. It blocks off a lot of things. So Empoleon is very crucial, but we are only playing one copy just because we don't really need it. Our main strategy is Star Gravity, and if they are playing a one price, we got our Snipe to basically kill their bench supports with our Double Gunner and also our Quick Shoot, and we can even transfer for early knockouts and earn an extra turn with our Yoga Loop to do even more Snipe to kill off more one price Pokemon. So that's actually the perfect strategy. We don't really need Empoleon, but Empoleon is just there just for us to, you know, make this deck even more fun, even more consistent, and even more good. We can also use our Star Gravity with Empoleon. Make sure you are aware of that. You can use this card with any of your V Pokemon. You can attach it to your Medicham, you can attach it to anything, even a Crobat or a Lumineon. You can use Star Gravity with any V Pokemon. So that's all for the deck list. Let's go ahead for gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game versus Zeraora V-Star and VMAX. They got double, and they are playing Bolton for the turbo acceleration. So they got early energies using Bolt Storm, which is pretty cool. Electrify, my bad. Electrify for 2 energy on the bench, and then after that they get to attack with their first V-Star or VMAX, and then, you know, recycle those energy with Flaffy. So Bolton is a turbo charge, which is a very smart strategy to use for your Zeraora. Instead of just Flaffy, might as well just do a Bolton first, since you're playing a V-Star and VMAX anyways. Maybe play a Big Charm or, you know, Cape of Toughness just to make sure Bolton doesn't die. Because even if you do Bolt Storm going second on your first turn, they can quite easily do an Arceus to knock you out. So Arceus V-Star, Trinity Nova, they just need a Choice Belt. So I think Bolton is quite dangerous, honestly. But they can kill any V Pokemon, honestly, if they have a Choice Belt and Double Turbo. 210 damage is a lot. They can kill a Shadow Rider if you go second. They can kill a lot of things. And if they play Zigzagoon, they just need that 10 extra damage. They get it early though. If they don't, you're probably going to evolve on the next turn. So, okay, here comes Bolton. We got our Medicham as our first active, which is quite terrible. But we're going to recover from that. We're going to try and get something else into the active. Either our Tower of Waters, Escape Rope, which is our only 2 switch cards. We have no Bird Keeper, no switch card, no... I don't think there's any other switches. Furisode Girl. Furisode Girl. I just used the wrong pronunciation. So Furisode Girl is a new supporter that allows you to bench a basic directly from your deck and then switch it with your active. Well, it gives you the option actually. You may switch the new bench Pokemon that you just put onto your bench. You may switch that Pokemon into the active, or you may just leave it there, but you have to search your deck and put it onto your bench first. So it's a pretty cool new supporter, which is obviously, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it works really well with some Pokemon, obviously. Furisode. I literally went online and checked the pronunciation and couldn't find it, and eventually you know what, I got really frustrated. I just searched for like Japanese pronunciation, and finally they gave me that. Like, it's ridiculously impossible. Anyways, so we got our first strike as Yoga Loop, which is quite weird. We did Yoga Loop without doing a knockout, so we didn't get an extra turn, but we did have at least 2 damage counter in the game, instead of attaching to the Inteleon and then, you know, having to wait. I think we actually have 2 Melanies for this deck. That's why we attached the Rapid Strike energy onto the Medicham. So remember that you can do either, they can quite easily do a boss anyways. If they do a boss and knock out the Inteleon V on the bench, we can't actually do Star Gravity with the V Pokemon. So always charge up 1 Pokemon at a time, and then all you need is either a Rapid Strike energy or a water on either the Medicham or the Inteleon V to do Star Gravity. Obviously, you need a tool card as well, but 3 energy is enough, and that means you don't really need a Melanie. Even if they knock you out, all you need is to search for your Rapid Strike energy and, you know, Shady for a, what's it called again? Earthen Seal Stone for you to do Star Gravity on the next turn. So it's a really weird attack. You actually have to use it late game. If you use it too early, you only got 1 shot. Don't forget that you only got 1 shot. It's a V-Star power. So if you use it way too early, you're not going to be able to collect the knockout because they haven't evolved yet. We want to be waiting them. We want to be waiting for them to show up, to have a lot of V-Star and VMAXs in play before we use our Star Gravity to place enough damage counters for us to knock them out with, you know, with our abilities later on. We want to be using Double Gunner and also Quick Shoot plus our Yoga Loop and Painful Spoons to basically, you know, shift around the damage counters and, you know, place them in the right fashion until we got a knockout and an extra turn and another and more snipes. I keep repeating that, but it's like really fun to play. If you can do Yoga Loop at the right time, it's just super fun. So for this game, we actually are playing 2 Medichams because it's like super fun to play Medicham. I at one point have no Basculin. We have 2 Medicham without a Basculin, but eventually I decided, you know what, against a 𝑔𝒚𝑪𝑮𝑶 V-Star, we need that Basculin. So they can do Moisture Star for your first hit. If you do Star Gravity, you can do Moisture Star. And then after that, you can do your 𝑔𝒚𝑪𝑗, sorry about that. 𝑔𝒚𝑪𝑗, what's it called again? 𝑔𝒚𝑪𝑗 Spiral for like a few damage in the game, and then you got your damage counter snipe. You can transfer from the bench to the active with your Alakazam. You can also do Quick Shoot, and that actually gives you like about 11 damage counter in the active, possibly 80 reduction though. I don't think it's that much. If they play Gardevoir, it would be quite terrible. So that means we would only be doing 40 damage with the attack, and transferring the damage counter, we would have like, we would need like 2 turns to get like about 12 damage, well, 14, right? No, 16. We just need 12 though, don't we? Oh no, they have the damage reduction. I keep forgetting. So 16 damage counter might be enough for us to knock it out with our Basculin. Is it? I'm not too sure. 190 minus 80. 190 minus 80 is enough, isn't it? That's 110. So it's only 270 HP. So it's exactly enough. We just need 16 damage counters. So we just need like 2 turns of Max Spiral, and then damage counter with our Alakazam and Quick Shoot. I think we got enough, right? 40 plus 4 damage counter every single turn. 2 turns for 16, and then I'm sorry, I'm pretty slow at math. So Swarm the Wound actually helps us a lot against 𝑔𝒚𝑪𝑗 V-Star, but their next one though, if they pull out the second one, is going to be quite terrible. I don't think we can win that easily, because if they don't play any supports, if they don't play Arceus, I don't think we can win the game that easily. If they do play Arceus, we can actually do, you know, we can do extra damage counter on the bench, and we can knock out the 𝑔𝒚𝑗 with the Arceus at the same time, and then possibly knock out a Bibarel or 2. You know, maybe I would say Echoing Horn has a lot of value for this deck, but I don't think we can find the space for it because we need so many consistency cards. We need so many supporters. We're playing that many evolutions. I don't think we have the space for Echoing Horn. Maybe just 1 copy, but I don't think it's worth it, honestly. Because if you Echo, Quick Shoot, and Yoga Loop again, you got another extra turn. But obviously, you have to be aware about Medicham's restriction. You have to be aware of the limitation. Medicham cannot use Yoga Loop twice in a row. So if you use it on your last turn, even if you didn't knock out one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, even if you didn't earn an extra turn with Yoga Loop, you still cannot use it on this turn if you used it already on the last. If you use it on the turn before the last, then you can use it. So you have to wait 1 turn before you can, you know, it has a cooldown period. So we got Radiant Alakazam. I love this Radiant Pokemon though. It's like the best Radiant ever. Obviously Greninja is like pretty cool. Steelix is pretty cool, but Alakazam has like the best ability. Never have I ever seen like any such abilities. I don't think a Prism Star Pokemon has such an ability. Like Serena has the same ability as Shaman, one of the I'm not too sure about Prism Star Shaman. I forgot what Prism Star Shaman does. But one of the previous Shamans has the same ability that it heals 20 damage from all of your Pokemon in play, which is pretty cool. And you'll get to see that we actually got matched up against Serena, Radiant Serena, in one of the matchups. You'll see that we won against a heal deck, which is pretty cool. But they are not healing a lot of damage though. Okay, we're just gonna play Scoop Up Net to recycle Shadies. And remember that you can actually play Scoop Up for your Radiant Alakazam as well. And we want to be evolving into, our aim is to get as many Quick Shoots as we can, because Quick Shoot is a little bit better than your VMAX, because it doesn't require you to discard your water energy. We do have Training Court to play that ability more times, but Double Gunner is a bit more difficult to play, just because we may not have water energy to discard. And even if we do, it is only placing damage counter on the bench. It is like 4 damage counter in the game though, which is a lot more. So there was a point where I decided to play 4 copies. When I first built it, the very start of this combo, when I first experimented with it, was like 4 copies. We played 4 VMAXs with the 4 basic, and we wanted to do Star Gravity with the VMAX. So make sure you use Star Gravity as the basic. If you evolve way too fast, they're gonna do a boss, they're gonna kill your Pokemon before you can even, you know, finish up the knockout after doing your Gravity. So make sure you evolve at the very final second, because if they don't kill you, if they don't kill a VMAX, they can't actually win the game, and you have extra 1 turn to do extra snipe. So that's why we don't have that many VMAX anymore, because VMAX is quite terrible. If they kill a VMAX, they draw 3 prizes, and then all they need is another VMAX knockout or a V knockout with a, you know, baby knockout, like a Sobble knockout with a boss, and they win the game by knocking out a Inteleon on the bench, or a Drizzile or Alakazam with an escape rope. They win the game. That's how easy. So that's why it's kind of golden rule not to evolve your Pokemon if you're playing a VMAX until the last second, especially when you're doing, well, I wouldn't say do that for every deck though. I would say make sure you evolve as fast as possible if you want to play a VMAX to attack fast. But for this game, the strategy is completely different. We're playing a completely different way of attacking. We want to be using our Star Gravity to place as many damage counters as possible on their Pokemon. And early game, we shouldn't be focusing on their V cards. We shouldn't be focusing on attacking their V Pokemons. We want to be reserving that for later in the game, once they've evolved everything, once they have a lot of V cards in play. Then only we should be worrying about getting enough energies and getting our tool card out for us to use Star Gravity. So early game, you should be focusing on killing off the baby basics. We should be killing their baby Pokemons, their 1 prize supports, and, you know, stuff like Bibarel, Flaffy, or Mew, Comfy, Cramorant, stuff like that. We want to be killing them off for extra 1 or 2 prize, and then all we need is another 2 V knockouts. 2 V star knockout, that's enough for us to win the game. So that's what you should be focusing on. We have 2 Serena, which doesn't actually work for 1 prize, unfortunately, but we do have our Double Gunner and Quick Shoot to target those Pokemon. So if you pull out your VMAX early, you can use the ability, but I don't think you should be evolving. So we shouldn't be, I don't think it's that easy to kill a 1 prize if they have it on the bench, honestly, because we shouldn't be using our VMAX that early, because otherwise they would be knocking it out. So I'm not sure what to do, honestly. This deck is quite difficult to play. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a very fun deck, but it's just way too difficult. If you are familiar with damage counter decks, if you really like those damage counters and Medicham, I love Medicham a lot, and we actually get to play it a lot for this game, for this video. If you love that card, then go ahead and play with this deck. It's like super fun. You can even modify and add new cards yourself. And we got our Shady Inteleon for another extra 2 search. We're gonna search for a Serena. That's all we need really. Serena to get the VMAX into the active and to kill it with our double energy. So you can't play Melanie and Serena at the same time. That's why we have a lot more supporter now. Melanie doesn't actually work that, it really isn't that powerful, honestly. I would prefer to just do more Rapid Strike energy than more Water and Melanie, because you need at least 7 energies if you're playing a Melanie. I think that's like the bare minimum. 8 is okay, 9 is actually like the ideal case. If you have 9 Water energy, it actually works really well with your Melanie. If you have only 6 or 7, is like not that good. It really is not that good, even with Capacious Bucket, because that item is basically lost if you don't play Irida. Capacious Bucket is not that easy to get into your hand, but we do have Shady though. We do have Shady. But we need way too many searches though. We need to search for the double energy as well. If we don't do a Melanie, if we search for the Melanie, we need to discard the energy, so it's quite a lot of things that we need to do. And without evolving, you may not be able to discard that easily. That's why we have Zinnia now. We have our Quick Ball. We don't want to be discarding the energy with the ability, because we don't want to be evolving the VMAX that early. If you do a VMAX evolution way too early, you're gonna get knocked out for 3 prize, and then by the time you do your Star Gravity, you wouldn't be able to collect the knockout after. So Star Gravity would be completely useless. We want to be featuring this deck off of that V-Star power, so that's why we are not evolving that early. Okay, right now we're up against a Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. You can still use it with your Empoleon. Empoleon actually gets to use Star Gravity as well. I keep saying that, but it's like very unusual to see a regular Pokemon doing Star Gravity, like a Crobat V, for example. Imagine doing Star Gravity with a Crobat. Okay, we got our Capacious Bucket for 2 water. We're gonna attach one to the bench. Or the active, I don't know. Obviously, don't attach your tool card that early, because your opponent may play, you know, Lost Vacuum or even Tool Scrapper to remove it. If they play Tool Jammer though, you can't actually use it at all. You need Escape Rope or Serena. If they play Tool Jammer, you need those cards to be able to use that attack, because that Pokemon is in the active. Your active Pokemon has no, your active Pokemon's tool cards have no effect, and that means you can't do the V-Star power. Okay, what are we gonna get? What are we gonna search for? We definitely need to do a Scoop Up Net if we want to search for another card, but we chose to keep our hand. I think that was a mistake there. We played the Level Ball without thinking. So make sure you keep certain cards in your hand, because if they do a Marnie right now, we would be quite screwed. We have our Drizzile in our hand, Level Ball discarded. It would be a lot more difficult for us to search for another supporter. But we would probably get our Marnie or Serena to draw cards. So they got Phantom Star for the extra draw. And they did a research. No Marnie. Thank God, no Marnie. And they got a really cool Alolan Vulpix V-Star deck sleeve, which is like so new and so awesome. Kind of jealous. And here comes their first knockout. They can quite easily do it right now. I think they attached it to the Dunsparce though. Can they seriously knock out our Inteleon this turn? I don't know why they attached the energy to the Dunsparce. I have no idea. I guess it could be a mistake or something. Or maybe they just, you know, wanted us to target something else. Because they even attached the air balloon to the Dunsparce. I guess they just wanted to empty their hand to draw more cards. With, I don't know, with Crobat. I don't think they played a Crobat though. They did their research before playing the ability, right? Before playing research and Crobat. Okay. We're gonna do Shady. We got Zisu, which is a very new, not that new, but I don't think people play Zisu that much. The reason we have a Zisu is because I find out that if you play an Inteleon deck, you're more likely to be left with zero hand because you're using up a lot of your items, you're using up a lot of your energies, you're, evolving as well, you're using a lot of cards from your hand, and that means you have, virtually zero cards left after playing your Shady, and that means Zisu is going to draw you a lot of cards after evolving and using up those items. Zisu is kind of perfect. But now that we have that many supporters, I'm not sure if it's working as well as I hope, but it's still working decently well, which is enough. So Dunsparce has 20 HP remaining. We should be focusing on the V-Star though. Let's hope they evolve on the next turn, the bench. And that means we got extra damage counter on the V-Star on both Zoroarks. And that means all we need to do is Yoga-Loop for an extra turn of Snipe. We're gonna do Surf. So what we're doing right now on V Pokemons is basically 0 damage. We're essentially doing 0 damage to their V Pokemons because we're gonna eventually do the same thing. If we play the Star Gravity, you're not doing extra damage counter placement if you attack it before playing your Star Gravity. So make sure you target, if you can, their 1 prize Pokemons with your attacks before playing your tool card, before using that V-Star power with your V Pokemon. Sometimes it's just not possible though. We got 1 Snipe with the Quick Shoot Inteleon. So 1 Snipe may actually be enough for you to set up for Yoga Loop at the right time. And then transfer with Painful Spoons. You got 1 extra turn to transfer even more, to do double V-Star knockout or even double VMAX knockout with your Medicham, Inteleon VMAX, and also Alakazam. Best card ever, yo. Okay, we're gonna do our water energy. Are we gonna waste the double? I don't think we should be wasting the double energy. I keep calling it double because I don't quite like the name of the energy. It's called Rapid Strike Energy. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense. You should name it double, like, I don't know. Double Chi Energy or something like that. Counter Energy is not called double as well. Double Colorless, double Turbo, Counter, and now we have Rapid Strike, which only works for a certain faction of Pokemon. Counter only works for non-GX as well, but we have Mew though for expanded. We have Mew to copy like GX attacks. Only tag team though, so you still can't use Evolution GX attacks. Evolution GX moves is still kind of impossible to play with your counter energy. Anyways, let's get back to standard. So we're gonna play Zisu right now. We played the Scoop Up Net wrong. We should be keeping it in our hand, play the Zisu first before scooping up the Inteleon, because now we have an extra card that we can't play, and Zisu is drawing us that 1 less card, which is, still a big downer actually. We're gonna just Star Gravity right now, which is the perfect moment because they got double V-Star already. And then play a Medicham on the next turn if we can get it. They actually did a Marnie, which is quite horrible. We should be keeping our cards in our hand, but we chose to play the Quick Ball for the Medicham, which is like the worst decision we could have possibly done. Because we have so many cards. If you have a lot of cards in your hand, make sure you are aware that your opponent can do a Marnie. Not just aware, like your opponent are probably going to play a Marnie. Like 1000%. If you, as the opponent, see that they have a lot of cards in their hand, what are you going to do? Probably a Marnie. So you have to prepare for that. And for this game, for some reason, we did not. Because if you bench the Medicham right now, they're going to do a boss. If you put it into your hand, they're going to do a Marnie. So you should not be playing the Quick Ball. We played the Training Court, we played everything. Now we're gonna do Star Gravity Free Fall. Okay. Here comes the knockout. They got so many. We actually did the work for them though. We placed damage counter on the... I think we did quick shoot on the 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝑮𝒏. I'm not sure if we helped them with Ticking Curse. I'm pretty sure at some point we did, but we didn't play our VMAX ability though. I don't think we evolved it. So this is like the best game yet, because this is the game where I did not evolve until the very last minute. And I don't think we evolved the last one even. I don't think we have a third Inteleon to evolve. So we didn't play a single VMAX for this game, which isn't really ideal, but it's still better than evolving too fast. Okay, we're gonna do Shady for double search. And we got Quick Ball in our hand. We just need the double energy. We're gonna play a Bruno or something to get the double energy out. Probably a Bruno. Let's play all the cards in our hand to maximize the chances of us drawing out that double energy. We got another search with the Shady, with the Drizzile. So let's get the Medicham into the game. We got Tower of Waters and Bruno. We actually need to switch. We need to retreat. So we actually plan ahead on the last turn to retreat with the Tower of Waters. With the Shady, I guess. Because they did a Marnie, and Marnie actually means we have like half a turn to prepare. Right? While they are doing, right after doing the Marnie, while they're attacking, we can actually prepare, we can plan on what to do. And that's apparently what I did. So playing the Tower of Waters means we get to retreat for free. And now we just need a Rapid Strike Energy to do Yoga Loop on the 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒏, earning us an extra whole turn to do another snipe. So we're gonna snipe. I'm just checking if it's 70 or 60, because you could never be too careful. We're gonna snipe the V-Stars, always snipe the V-Star, and transfer from the Crobat onto the Zoroark. If Bibarel has 2 damage counter, I would be transferring from Bibarel, obviously. But it doesn't really matter, because they just need like 250 damage to kill anything. We have no VMAX in play. If they do a boss on the Medicham, we're done. If we can't kill both the V-Stars after the Yoga Loop, then we're done, because they would be able to kill the Medicham in the active. They don't even need a boss, they don't even need a Serena, because we have it in the active in a silver platter for them. So we're gonna do Yoga Loop on the 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒏 right now. We got a second Inteleon in our hand to evolve. And now we got an extra whole turn to place 6 damage counters on the bench, which is more than enough, I think. I'm pretty sure. Because we did 1 snipe and 1 transfer. I think it's exactly enough though. So that's 4 damage counter on the last turn and 6 on this turn, which is perfect. Just nice. Which is not really ideal, but we do have the VMAX though. If we play the VMAX, we would be able to get it anyways. So we didn't bench a third Inteleon V. We got a second Inteleon stage. We got a second baby Inteleon instead, which is the same thing. And that means we got a V-Star knockout on the bench and another in the active with our Smash Uppercut. So Medicham can still attack, doing 100 damage, ignoring the resistance of your opponent's active. This attack isn't affected by resistance, and that means you get to cut through Psychic Pokemon's resistance and do a raw 100 damage on any Pokemon. 100 damage is exactly enough after doing Star Gravity to finish off V Pokemons, unless if they have Gardevoir in play. So make sure you check their Pokemons in play. If they have a Gardevoir, if they have a Oricorio, anything like that, you can't actually knock it out with your Smash Uppercut. Smash Uppercut does not ignore all effects, it only ignores resistance. So we actually did 200 damage because it doesn't say weakness is still affected by weakness, and they don't actually have a 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒏 in play anymore. So that means we are actually doing 200 damage on the Zoroark. 200 is not quite enough to kill off, well, it's actually enough to kill off the active if we do our quick shoot Inteleon. So they better be getting their second 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒏 if they want to tank with their Zoroark. I don't think they have a second 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒏. They may have Rod and Quick Ball to rebench it. We got the VMAX and a double energy. So we can retreat with anything except for the Alakazam. If they boss the Alakazam, we would need to Shady for... I don't think we have any more Drizziles inside the deck. We have 3 copies though. Maybe it's still in the deck somewhere. So if we can play another Shady, we would do Escape Rope, because that's actually enough for it to kill anything. I don't think we need to play anything though, because we got enough Snipe to win the game. We're doing 60 damage counter Snipe, 6 damage counter, my bad, 60 damage counter. That's like 600 damage. 6 damage counters on the Gengar is actually enough because we got Yoga Loop for another extra 2. So even if they retreat to the bench, we can Yoga Loop for the win. And we would essentially have a, you know, a Void extra turn. An extra Void turn. Void return. Staying in the active. So we may not be able to retreat. But we have the Tower of Waters though. Like, why are they bossing? Oh, they did Escape Rope. They didn't do a boss. Serena is actually quite... it is limiting because if they play a 1-price deck, if you want to target a 1-price Pokemon, like a Miltank, you want to kill a Miltank with your Waterfall Inteleon, or if you want to kill like a Goodra, a 1-price Goodra, with that annoying ability that guards all of your Pokemon with Metal Energy attached from V Pokemon's attacks, from damage done by V Pokemon's attacks, then you actually need to do a boss. You can't play Serena for those support Pokemons. You can't actually deal with those, you know, protections like Radiant Gardevoir even, because they are not V. Radiant Gardevoir is a rule box Pokemon, but it's not a V Pokemon. That means Serena still doesn't work against Gardevoir. Or even Greninja. Okay, we actually won that with Yoga Loop a second time, and we got an extra, you know, another extra turn after winning the game. Visible. Okay, let's fight against... I don't know what they have actually. I think it's a Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider Mewtwo V-Star. We got Medicham again in the active, which is so annoying. There we go. Shadow Rider with Mewtwo. And we keep getting the Seal as our first card in our first hand, which is, I don't know. Just because it's a new card, it keeps showing up. I feel like that's the case. We're just gonna play Training Court right now and retrieve the water. Should we play a Sobble or an Inteleon? Apparently the Inteleon. So we have Irida for this game. This is quite an early build. I eventually decided to cut that card because it's just not good enough. Searching for only 2 cards is quite terrible for a supporter. I would rather draw 3 and get an extra energy with Melanie. Like, that is still doing way much more. But we only have 1 Melanie now. I started off with like 1 Irida and 2 Melanie. Well, when I first started this deck, it's only 3 Melanies that I have. If you are playing Inteleon, I don't think you get to play that many Melanies. If you are doing a, you know, Shady Dealings deck, you should be playing a lot of Marnies and Research or something like that. We can't play Research just because we don't have the space for Rod. We have no space for Pulpad and Rods, that's why we can't play the Research. We don't want to be discarding our Pokemon and support cards, or even energy, special energy. We want to be keeping those in our hand or inside the deck for later. So waiting for them to evolve is actually quite it's quite a tricky play, isn't it? It's quite tricky to use this tool card because sometimes in some games you may not need it at all. If they don't play enough V Pokemons, I don't think it's necessary. And if they play like only one, you know, 1 V with like Inteleon supports, or like 2 Vs, Ice Rider for example, and they bench it late, then you can't actually use that Star Gravity for enough damage counters. They have to evolve the Ice Rider though. They have to evolve the first VMAX, so you may only be able to do Libra Horn effect with that 1 tool card, but it's okay. It's still better than nothing, right? It's a Galarian Rapidash for a Rapid Strike box. And you still get to retrieve the Rapidash using a Tower of Waters. Almost like that. Okay, we're gonna do Irida for a Sobble. I think that's the best play here. We can do Star Gravity already, but we don't want to be playing it that early because they haven't evolved yet. Gardevoir. They have the Radiant Gardevoir, and that means that doesn't really mean anything. Oh wait, that means Smash Uppercut is not able to collect the knockout. So Smash Uppercut would have been able to kill the active if they have 100 HP remaining after doing Star Gravity on the next turn, because we actually have to wait an extra turn for them to evolve. And then Smash Uppercut would have been enough if they don't play a Gardevoir. And because Rapid Strike Energy serves as both water and fighting, you actually get to play it for the energy cost doing Smash Uppercuts. Because Smash Uppercut requires 1 fighting and 2 colorless. And we have 2 fighting / 2 water plus 1 water. If we attach 2 Rapid Strike Energy, we got 4. Okay, we got Heavy Ball for Sobble. Gonna bench the Sobble. So make sure you check your deck for what you have. Irida is actually pretty fun to play, honestly, because you can Irida for a Heavy Ball, you can search for the tool card, you can search for Escape Rope, you can search for quite a lot of things, but I prefer just to play... I keep saying the same thing, sorry guys. I prefer to play like proper draw supports like Marnie, Melanie, not Melanie, Marnie, Serena, Zisu, you know, like better draws. You can use 1 Serena for the draw and 1 for the boss effect. And in some games, you may not need it at all. If they have like VMAXs on the bench, you can kill them with your damage counters, Yoga Loop, and kill them with damage counters again. If they heal and then retreat to the bench, no. If they retreat to the bench and heal their new active, then you may actually need to... Well, we are placing damage counters though. We have Basculin. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you want to be using Basculin to target one of their bench, then you actually need Serena for Swarm the Wound to work. They got the V-Star evolution, but no VMAX yet. We're gonna wait for at least 1 VMAX in the, in their field before we are using Star Gravity. I don't think we should be using Star Gravity just yet. We actually attached the... Oh my goodness. We attached the tool card on the active, knowing it's going to get knocked out on next turn. Because they are probably going to do the VMAX evolution, kill off the Medicham, and now we actually got to search for the second tool card. And we're only playing 2 copies, so if you don't have another one inside the deck, make sure you check your deck though, because we're only playing 2 copies of the tool card. If it is priced, you can't actually use Star Gravity anymore. I'm pretty sure we checked the deck on the last turn, and we know that we have another copy, so we can quite easily draw another Drizzile to search for the tool card, and we got our first Gravity in the game. Well, we can only use it 1 time, so we got the Gravity in the game, my bad. Reducing all their V Pokemons down to 100 HP, so they actually have a second Shadow Rider that is not able to evolve this turn because they just benched it. So we can reduce only the 1 VMAX, 1 V-Star, and a Crobat, which is actually enough though. If we can somehow kill the Gardevoir, because it only has 12 it now has 11 damage counters. Sorry, 110 HP, which is still like 10 HP more than after the Gravity, 10 HP more than Crobat after playing the V-Star power. So I think we should be targeting both the Crobat and Mewtwo on the bench, including... Well, in addition to the VMAX and the active, or if we get our Basculin though, we can actually kill off the second Shadow Rider on the bench by doing a Serena, another Serena. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our V-Star power. We are actually gonna bench a Manaphy, because you never know if they have an Articuno for a Shadow Rider deck. Articuno makes a lot of sense, because you actually get to use the charge ability to get extra energy in the game for not just your Shadow Rider to do more damage, but also for extra discards for Purge, for Mewtwo, for Mewtwo's attack to last a bit longer. You get to do 270 for multiple turns if you play Articuno for extra. And let's do another Shady. Apparently, we're gonna search for our first quick shoot. I think we can evolve the Inteleon already. Oh, we're gonna get a VMAX. Okay. We were pretty confident they don't have an energy switch. Even if they do though, they need a Choice Belt and a 𝑷𝑗𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑶. But they're not playing 𝑷𝑗𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑏𝑐 because they got Gardevoir. So I don't think Mewtwo can knock us out. If they play double Underworld Door, double VMAX ability with the energy from their hand, they got 6 plus the Articuno 7, 8. That's 9 with the Choice Belt. So that's 270, 280 damage with the Shadow Rider is not quite enough. That's the reason we chose to evolve, because they don't actually have enough energy in the game. They don't have enough energy on the Shadow Rider to do a one-hit knockout on our VMAX, and that's the reason we chose to play the Double Gunner early. Evolving fast gives you the ability. You can play Double Gunner a lot more times. But if you don't evolve though, you're not actually placing damage counter on anything but the one prize though. Right? You're not doing anything on the other Pokemon, because if they play full V cards, if they play a full V bench, if they have nothing but V Pokemons on their bench, you're essentially doing 0 damage counters with your Double Gunner ability, because you are placing damage counter until they have 100 HP remaining with your tool card anyways, which is the same thing. So whether you play the ability before or after, whether you play the ability or not, before using the tool card, before using a V-Star power, it is irrelevant. You have to play the ability after. That's when it counts. That's when it actually counts. Unless if they have a lot of one-prize supports. If they play one-prize decks, obviously evolve it early. If they do a full one-prize, Star Gravity is basically rendered useless. Don't use the tool card at all. We want to be using Empoleon and Double Gunner Quick Shoot as fast as possible. Get those cards out and play your damage counter snipe. Move them around with your Alakazam to kill key cards that they need to set their engine running, like maybe Flaffy, Bibarel, Eldegoss, whatever. We're gonna Shady for a Scoop Net and Incense. We need to get our Rapid Inteleon now. We need to do a quick shoot right now. This is the perfect time to be doing damage counters, because we just did the V-Star on the last turn. So now we want to be getting... I'm not sure what we should be doing now, because we don't have enough damage counters on the second VMAX. The VMAX on the bench actually only has 110 HP because they evolved late. And now we need to either kill both the VMAX or one VMAX, one V-Star, and the Gardevoir. But as I said earlier, Gardevoir actually has 90 HP remaining. I don't know how it has 90 HP remaining, because we actually did Double Gunner on it, I guess. I think we did Yoga Loop. We did Yoga Loop on the Gardevoir, and we did Double Gunner as well. And now it actually has less HP than Crobat. Somehow. We're gonna do Double Gunner again, and we did not realize that the Shadow Rider has only 11 damage counters on it. We thought we were slowly killing it off, but eventually we realized that, oh shit, it only has 17 damage counters on it. And now we need to circle back. We need to change our strategy. We need to dig out our Basculin. If we can get the Basculin, we can actually do Swarm the Wound for another VMAX knockout. They may not be attacking with the Mewtwo on the next turn, because Mewtwo only has 100 HP remaining. If they kill the Inteleon VMAX, we got one prize. We got one last turn though. I think the next turn is our last, because they got 3 prizes with the VMAX knockout. So we need to be winning on the next turn. If we don't, we're done. If we don't get a Basculin, we're dead. Or if we don't do enough damage to kill the VMAX, we don't actually need a Basculin if we can do another Spiral, but we don't have a second VMAX in play, so I don't think that's possible. We just need 320 HP, so 15 damage counters. If we do Waterfall, I don't think it would be enough. Double Inteleon. Oh, it's actually enough though. Oh, no. It's only 70 damage. 70 damage plus 6 damage counter is still not enough. If we get a Scoop Net and Inteleon with the Bruno, we may be able to do it. 70 plus 8 damage counters. That's exactly enough. 21. She's 22. So we can actually play the Bruno though, but we got the Level Ball for Basculin. We're only playing one copy, that's why I say it's a bit risky, and you may actually need to do Waterfall for the win, because Bruno may actually get you a Scoop Up Net, which can actually transfer. You can either scoop up your Inteleon or scoop up your Alakazam to recycle the ability, but we actually need a second Inteleon as well in addition to the net, and we may not get both those. Oh, one is prized. You can see that the other Inteleon is actually prized, so we actually need the Basculin. We won with Swarm the Wound, which is quite unusual. And now we're gonna go ahead for the next game. I think this is the Mew VMAX game. Mew VMAX is like the worst game ever, because we actually got the win, but we threw the game. You'll see that we actually threw the game. Okay, we got a Gyarados coin and a Squirtle deck sleeve with our water deck box. They got a Professor Juniper deck sleeve, deck box, and coin, which is all the way back from Shining Fates, I think. There we go. It's a Mew VMAX. This is like the worst game of my life. I'm gonna show it anyways because I think it's a win. I'm gonna consider this as a win because we know we have the option to do the winning condition, but we chose not to because we thought the second option would actually win us the game anyways, but it didn't. It didn't. So, oh my god, this is the worst game of my life. Literally. They discarded 2 boss and 2 power tablets early because they want to speed through their hand. They don't actually need a power tablet because they got 𝑚𝒆𝒐𝒏. If they have enough Fusion Strike Energy in play, if they got 4, they actually get to do 280 damage with Melodious Echo. Only a few times though, they need Roseanne's research to recycle it back. If they attach it to the same Pokemon, they may not be able to, you know, deny us from discarding more than one. If we kill one Pokemon with 2 Fusion Strike Energy attached, and that's actually gonna destroy them a lot because they can't actually shuffle back that many with Roseanne. So we can't place damage counters on Mew VMAX if it has Fusion Strike Energy on it using abilities. Abilities doesn't work because that special energy blocks abilities. So that means no Double Gunner, no Alakazam. You still cannot transfer. I tried it. You'll see that I actually tried it for this game because I thought I had the luxury to. I thought I had the luxury to do so much because they actually discarded so many cards early game. But it is just so tight. If you're playing a damage counter deck, if you're doing Medicham, you have to be super careful. I don't know why this deck is so tight, but it's just built that way. If you are not careful, like to the max, you're gonna lose the game. But that actually makes the game more challenging. It makes this deck way more challenging and way more fun, as opposed to any other decks that you're playing with your Star Gravity. Just because it is, you know, that it is you need to be a lot more alert and you need to be a lot more careful, and that actually means it requires a lot more intelligence. We're gonna discard the Manaphy because we don't need it. They got no bench snipe. They got damage counters with glistening droplets, but they can't actually, you know, we can't avoid it with our Manaphy anyways. We're gonna get our double water and attach 1 to the bench. They are probably gonna target the bench though, so we should be attaching to the active. If they have a boss, they discarded their boss though. They discarded 2 of their bosses early in the game, so I'm pretty sure they don't have the boss. That's the reason I attach it to the bench. And Mew VMAX is super fast. They can already collect their first 2 prize by killing off our active Inteleon on their second turn. They can already do a V knockout, a V star, or even a VMAX knockout on their second turn, which is crazy. That's why I say do not evolve until the very, very last second. I wasn't sure if we should be playing the escape rope because we need the Alakazam. It's kind of better to play quick shoot than your VMAX. But I feel like we should be sacrificing the Sobble. I don't think we should though, upon afterthought, because if we have it killed this turn, then on the next we have only one Shady, and we actually need to scoop it up and get a third one. And we are only playing 3 copies of the Sobble. If we get one knocked out, we may not get our heavy ball if it is prized. Or, you know, we may just not get the level ball. Ultra Ball. They're trying to dig for the boss. I'm pretty sure they have 4 copies of the boss. VMAX is just crazy. They're playing 4 bosses in their deck, and we got Serena now. They can even play Serena for Mew. 2 boss and 2 Serena is fucking insane. It's just insanity. Okay, we finally got our Star Gravity, which isn't really that, you know, it isn't that late in the game. They did not do a knockout, surprisingly. No double turbo, no Elisa. They didn't do a knockout with the Mew. I don't think they attached it from their hand. I'm pretty sure they did Elisa instead. So here we go. We got our Star Gravity on both the VMAXs because they evolved early, which is great. That means we can hit both VMAX and also both Genesects on the bench. They're clearly giving us the win here, but we actually made a really silly mistake later on. You'll see the dumbest mistake of my life. Marnie. If we play the Gravity, I think they're trying to attack with 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑶. So if we play Gravity and they attack with 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑶, we have no way of hitting the Mew VMAX on the bench because they have Fusion Strike Energy, right? Fusion Strike Energy protects them against abilities. It doesn't protect them from effects of attacks, so we can still use Star Gravity, Yoga Loop. Those effects still work, but we can't use Double Gunner, Quick Shoot, or Painful Spoons also doesn't work on the Mew VMAX. Elisa, they could have done it to the second Mew VMAX. Like, they could have done it to the second Mew, and then we would be done for. So you kind of need Temple of Sinnoh against Mew VMAX because we are playing abilities. You can think about doing Urshifu, but I don't like Urshifu because Manaphy is like so common these days. Manaphy is more common than Mew VMAX. Mew VMAX can't afford to play Manaphy, obviously, but if they have just one Manaphy on the bench, you can't do Rapid Flow. Yeah, you need one turn to deal with the Manaphy with your Lost City and your boss or canceling Cologne, and that's actually a lot more difficult. You not only need the Cologne with your Shady, you also need to search for your tool card, Melanie, double energy with your Octillery. Is just a lot more difficult. So we can get round Manaphy a lot easier with our Inteleon because we are placing damage counters, and we can actually get an extra turn by killing off the Manaphy with Yoga Loop. I think this deck is much better than Urshifu. Okay, we're gonna do Painful Spoons on the Mew VMAX without the Fusion Strike Energy. So this is the turn where we got stuck. We should actually be dealing with the 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑶. I didn't realize that we should be dealing with the 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑶 until it was too late. So Medicham is our key support here. We should be playing Medicham right now. We don't actually have enough damage counters though. We can't actually place enough this turn, so we're just gonna do we're just gonna Irida for a Inteleon, and then snipe their active, snipe the Mew VMAX on the bench. So that's the reason we don't have Irida now. We have no Irida and Melanie just because those cards, we have only one copy, my bad. One copy of Melanie and no Irida just because those cards are not enough to get you, you know, it only gets you your Pokemon and trainer cards. And triple draw is not enough to get you energies. You need energy cards to be able to attack every single turn. For you to do double gunner every single turn as well, you need enough, you know, Pokemon and energies as well. You need to draw enough cards. That's why this deck is taking so long, because it's like the refining process is very long. I was like super depressed when someone else posted the seal deck first. Like, come on. Seal deck, whoever posted that first is gonna get so much views. Earthen Seal Stone. Oh man, I should have just posted, like, I got a few wins early, but I'm not really satisfied with those wins because it's kind of like they didn't play a boss when they could have. They didn't do this when they could have. They didn't do that when they could have. So it's not really a proper win. It's not a clear win. And that's the reason I posted it late. Okay, we're gonna do Inteleon and Ultra Ball now. No excuses though, right? No excuses. You snooze, you lose. Same goes for this game. We actually lost this game. You'll see. We did so much though. We did Medicham. We did damage counters. We killed off the Mew VMAX, one of it. And we actually had to circle back our strategy. We had to, what do you call that? Do a U-turn and place damage counters on the Genesect instead. Target the Genesect for the knockout and also the 𝑚𝒆𝒐. So we tried to kill the 𝑚𝒆𝒐 and the Genesect, but ended up with one prize remaining. You'll see. I don't want to give off spoilers. We thought we could kill the 𝑚𝒆𝒐. Oh, that was just like the worst fucking decision of my life. Okay. So we actually couldn't do anything this turn. We're just gonna prepare for the retreat. If we get a Medicham, they may have a boss, because they're playing a lot of bosses in their deck. Let's just get a Basculin. If they try to attack with the Mew VMAX, we got, you know, our Rapid Strike energy to deal with that. We can't play Melanie for Basculin, obviously, but we got a lot more Rapid Strike energy in our belt. We're just gonna play Melanie on the next turn and hope we get something good. I'm pretty sure we should be playing our Sobble though, because Melanie may not be enough. It's too late now. So Serena, we only have one Serena for this game. That's why I eventually played way more Serena. I swapped the Irida for a Serena and another Melanie for Zisu and something else for Zinnia, because we don't actually have enough supporter cards for this game. Temple of Sinnoh would actually have a lot of value, but I think if we play Serena though, it would actually be enough. If we do Serena on one of the Mew VMAXs, we can do Basculin, Storm the Wound for a knockout, and then all we need is double gunner on the Genesect and one of the baby Pokemon on the bench. We can kill either one Genesect and a Oricorio or 𝑚𝒆𝒐 on the bench, and that would be enough for us to win the game. So if we transfer to the Oricorio, we could have done our Yuga loop on the Oricorio instead of the Mew VMAX, and that means Smash Uppercut would have actually helped us kill the 𝑚𝒆𝒐. Or we can actually play Melanie on the Inteleon and use G-Max Spiral to kill off the 𝑚𝒆𝒐. We don't actually need to play Medicham to knock out the active. We can actually use our VMAX to knock out the active, and we actually know we can do that, and we wanted to do that, but oh my god, I don't know why we didn't. I have no idea why we didn't. It was just, I feel like it's so cool to finish off the game with Medicham, to win with a terrible attack like Smash Uppercut, because it actually ignores resistance, and 𝑚𝒆𝒐 is resistant to fighting type. It's the perfect Pokemon. It's a psychic Pokemon, resistant to Medicham, And we couldn't pull it off because they have a fucking Oricorio. Unbelievable. That was so frustrating. Okay, we're gonna quick shoot right now. So we're killing off the Mew VMAX without the energy. It's pretty boring now because you guys already know what's gonna happen. Shouldn't have given it off. Okay, we actually did an experiment right here. We did an experiment because we thought we have a lot of damage counters to spare, but we don't actually have it. If we did an experiment, we could have transferred it to the 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒄 in the active, but we wouldn't have done that though, because we would actually, that would mean we actually foresaw the Oricorio, but we didn't actually foresee the Oricorio. So I don't think we would have transferred to the active anyways. So there are a lot of ways to win the game. You can either kill the Oricorio with, and then Yoga Loop on doing Medicham to win the game, and then Serena on the second Mew VMAX. Well, I don't think we should be doing that though, because if we target the Oricorio, then we can't kill the VMAX. I feel like we have to kill the VMAX. Because we only have two knockouts on the bench, and we have to kill something in the active. So the only way we can win is either to play Painful Spoons on the 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒄 before doing Smash Uppercut, and then win the game by killing off the 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒏𝒄, or we can actually play Melanie on the Inteleon 𝑑𝑗𝑚𝑪𝒏𝒄. Those are the only two options, and we wasted the Alakazam. We actually got another Inteleon from the prize, and that's exactly enough for us to play damage counters to kill off the Genocide, because we got 8 damage counters. We got 8 damage counters right now. 6 damage counter with the Inteleons, and 2 from Painful Spoons, and we even have a Scoop Up Net in our hand. So Scoop Up Net is going to help us play our Alakazam a second time, and that means we get to do Painful Spoons twice, knocking out the V Pokemon on the bench. We got a Training Court, we got a Melanie, we got the Retreat. We can retreat to do the Melanie. We know we can retreat to do the Melanie. You'll see that we actually wanted to retreat but chose not to, because we thought it would be super cool to pull off Smash Uppercut for the win, but that was like dumbest shit ever. The dumbest fucking mistake I've ever done in my life. I hate myself. I hate myself for losing this game. I hate myself. I hate myself so much. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here comes the dumbest fucking mistake of my life. We can retreat. Look at that. I know we can retreat. Retreat, Smash Uppercut. Retreat. Oh, let's just do fucking Smash Uppercut. We can kill it anyways, right? Nope. Nope. We got the Melanie. We got the fucking Melanie. And we conceded because they got Melodious Echo. We're not winning that. Oh well. You snooze, you lose. So anyways, I think I'm just gonna end the voice right here because to focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this new combo. Today we're featuring the new Earthen Seal Stone from Silver Tempest, a new tool card that gives your V Pokemon with that tool card attached a V-Star power that you get to use. It's called Star Gravity. It's an attack that requires 3 energy, 3 colorless for you to do a special effect of placing damage counter on all of your opponent's V Pokemon until all of them has 100 HP remaining. So you're doing the Libra Horn effect on all of their V Pokemons in play. So it only works against V Pokemon. It only works if you attach it to your V Pokemon as well. So it's a V-Star power that works on V Pokemons. We also have our Inteleon VMAX and Rapid Inteleon to place extra damage counter with not only Double Gunner but Quick Shoot, and also our Radiant Alakazam to transfer damage counters to focus the damage counters onto one of their Pokemon, one of their VMAX, the heavy Pokemon, the heavy prizer that we want to be knocking out. We get to transfer them to the right ones. From Crobat or Lumineon or anything that we don't need to knock out, and we even get to kill their V-Stars if they have nothing but V-Stars in play, and Crobats, Lumineon like that, we actually have to kill the V-Star, and that actually helps us buy an extra turn, because if we kill all the V-Stars on the next turn with Yoga Loop, obviously on the next turn they have no cards to attack with. They actually have to wait an extra turn to bench a new Pokemon, evolve it into the V-Star, get enough energy into the game before they are able to attack again. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, lovely people. Enjoy life.
Bye.